What's up everyone? Today we're talking about a big decision, a decision some of you might call bold, others might even call insane. But I sold my consoles. My Xbox 360 and One S, gone. My PlayStation 5, gone. Nintendo Switch, gone. And I replaced everything with a Steam Deck. Yeah, let's talk about that. So let me explain what led up to this. I felt I had way too many systems. Every time a new game dropped, I'd stand in front of my TV like, okay, which console do I want to start this on? Do I want to add achievements on Xbox? Or do I want to get it on PS5 where my friends play? Do I want it on my Switch to give me the option to play whilst I'm away from home? And it got to the point where my console shelf looked like a museum exhibit. I had a PS2 for my Silent Hill games, a 360 for stuff like Beatles Rock Band. My PS3 is literally just for Metal Gear Solid 4. And instead of playing games, I was just managing them, updating, charging controllers, switching things around, changing HDMI inputs. It was a whole upheaval. And then, this little beast entered my life. The Steam Deck. I've never owned a gaming PC or many handholds up until now, apart from a Game Boy Color in primary school and a PSP for a short while in high school. But I was familiar with Steam from friends who used PCs to game over console. But the task of building or splashing out on an all-singing, all-dancing gaming PC felt very daunting, like I wouldn't have the tech savvy to really get things running well. But then after much online research, I was really impressed at how capable but condensed the Steam Deck really is. And although I'm so late to this party, it had so much going for it that I never realised was possible. Suddenly my console started looking at me like Toy Story characters realising Andy's just got a new favourite. What grabbed me wasn't just the graphics or performance, it was the freedom. My entire gaming library, years and years of games from different generations and consoles, now all available for me at the touch of a button at any given moment in any space I feel comfortable. Sign me up. And modding? Emulation? So many retro titles with ease? It's a no-brainer really. Once I realised that the Steam Deck could legitimately replace my home consoles and give me more freedom to tackle my backlog in a more stress-free way, I took the plunge. I can sit back and play on the sofa or in the bedroom, my headphones, whilst my partner watches TV or takes important work calls without us getting in the way of each other. And I'm sure if you even have kids or quite a hectic home life, then this may be a great way to grab a few minutes of game time in between spaces, whereas turning on a console and taking over the main TV of the house won't last as long. It was time for the great gaming purge. Apart from my PS2, I pretty much sold everything. Consoles, accessories, additional controllers, shelves full of 360 titles or Xbox One games. And honestly, it felt pretty good. Minimalism unlocked, money recovered, shelf space free. I managed to pick up the standard LCD model with a 256GB hard drive on a Black Friday deal of £276 down from the retail of £350. I know that just like with the Switch OLED, there is a more updated Steam Deck, however this was a great price and does exactly what I need it for. A lot of titles I'll be playing on this now are old PC games, PS2 titles, 360 games, things like Curse of Monkey Island or the Broken Sword series, Max Payne 1 and 2, Halo Master Chief Collection, all the Half-Life and Portal games, Left 4 Dead 2. So the graphical fidelity, although important, isn't my first concern with the kind of library I'll have on here. One great feature as well is that on Steam it shows whether the game is compatible or even better verified. This means it's optimal at running on the Steam Deck's hardware and has been play tested to prove so by Steam themselves. So how's life with the Steam Deck been? Honestly, kind of amazing. I'm playing AAA games in bed, indies on the couch, retro classics on the go, mods are running like magic, and the Steam Dock also means I can still plug it into my TV or a monitor if I want the big screen console experience. And if you're wondering about performance, yes, it handles more than you'd expect for a handheld gaming PC. Graphics have a ton of options and features to make it work as smoothly as it can, whether that's sacrificing frame rate for high quality image or choosing performance over perfect imagery. It's surprisingly versatile, even for games that may not have had those features to begin with. The battery life for the LCD model isn't as good as the OLED. It's not perfect, but it is workable. I'm never too far from being able to charge it or put it back on the dock for a while I switch the kettle on. It's been extremely liberating and fun to experience titles I've loved for years in a brand new light. Am I saying you should sell your consoles? Not necessarily. Consoles are great, whether they be new or old. I loved mine. But if you want to boil down to one reliable and powerful device that plays nearly everything in your existing 2 to 3 consoles have as a library, your indie games, your modded classic games, your childhood emulated games, and even cloud games streamed from another PC, the Steam Deck just hits different. It simplified my gaming life in a way I didn't expect was possible. And now I'm able to work my way through some of my all-time favourite titles whenever and wherever I want. I really wish I'd switched to the Steam Deck sooner. So that's why I sold all my consoles and went all in on the Steam Deck. No regrets. I'll be interested to see what Valve's future hardware such as the Steam Machine is like, but I really can't see myself in a hurry to get back to Sony, Nintendo or Microsoft anytime soon. The customer care, professionalism and way that Valve just either value their customer opinions or feedback, as well as being down to earth with the pricing. I mean, some of those Steam sales are an absolute steal, especially where I am in the UK. Without things like Game Station or HMV anymore, the only real retail place in the high street to buy games from anymore is CEX. And again, they can be very overpriced for things that aren't even that great condition. Since looking up the Steam Deck, I've been looking more into Valve games, things I've never tried. I've played the Half-Life series and Portal, but Left 4 Dead's something I never really gave a go. I downloaded Left 4 Dead 2 straight away, and it was incredibly cheap. It was almost double that to get a physical copy that's probably scratched to hell in CEX. And not only that, the price point for the console is great. It's one of the only modern consoles that seem to be going down in price rather than up. If you'd like to ask me any questions as a newcomer to Steam Deck and my further thoughts on it, maybe if you're even on the fence about getting one yourself but want reassurance, drop a comment below and let me know. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy gaming, everyone!